Well, on their road to Caxton, they encountered some obstacles. What happened was, some of the signs leading the way to Caxton had been blown off by the wind. There was a storm, and so they got lost. And they couldn't find out, they didn't know which road led to Caxton. Well, fortunately, they spied some inhabitants. Some were honest and some were dishonest. But Maryland, by questioning them, by using a very, very clever logic trick, discovered which was the correct road to Caxton. So once they found that, they went to Caxton, where they remained for a few days. During that time, they went through a town interviewing the various inhabitants, and they finally found 5 of them whom they knew were the wizards. The wizards then were all brought back to Camelot. And once they were in Camelot, then came the grand trial. This trial, by the way, is the most amazing, most interesting trial in the whole history of British wizardry. Well, by all sorts of very ingenious logic tricks, Merlin narrowed them down one by one, till finally the one remaining one must be Gunther. So at last, King Arthur was face to face with Gunther. So Gunther, said Arthur, I have finally found you. Now, you know why we need you? I have the slightest idea, said Gunther. Look, I understand from Merlin that you are the only one in the land who knows where Klug is. Gunther thought for a minute and said, just a minute. Is it correct to say that I am the only one on the land who knows where Klug is? Klug also knows where he is, doesn't he? Oh, all right, said Arthur, irritated. You know what I meant. What I should have said is, you and Klug are the only 2 wizards in the land who know where Klug is. Then you would be wrong, said Gunther. You were right the first time. But that's impossible, said Arthur. You just proved to me, you just explained to me correctly that Klug also knows where he is. That's right, said Gunther. Klug knows where he is. I know where he is, and I'm the only one who knows where he is. But that's a logical contradiction, said Arthur. I have it, said Merlin. I bet I know the answer. Klug is nowhere now on the land, is that it? No, said Gunther. I have every reason to believe that Klug is in the land. Oh, I have it, said Arthur. Klug is probably now asleep, so he doesn't know where he is that it? No, said Gunther. I have every reason to believe that Klug is now absolutely awake. I give up, said Arthur. I also, said Merlin. You gentlemen are not very clever, said Gunther. But when I've told you, it logically follows that I must be Klug. What? Said Arthur in amazement. Of course it follows. Since I'm the only wizard who knows, I'm the only one who knows where Klug is, and Klug knows where he is, then Klug and I are the same person. Therefore I am Klug. You are Klug. None other, said Klug with a bow. But I thought you were Gunther. That was my assumed name, said Klug. You see, what happened was this. I got interested in this branch of logic known as canine logic. I hid myself in a cave, but I didn't want to be disturbed. I decided that I would change my name to Gunther so nobody would find me. But then I realized that people knew that Gunther knew where Klug was. They knew that Gunther was a wizard. They knew that wizards lived in caves, and so they would search all the caves in the land to ferret me out. I didn't want to be disturbed. And so I further changed my name. I left the cave, and I went to Caxton, where you found me. Most interesting, Arthur. So, you are Klug. So I found you at last, Klug, the famous dog wizard. No doubt you know why we need you? Of course, said You want to hear all about my research in canine logic. Well, let me tell you of my latest results. He then went on to explain his research in canine logic. It was highly technical, and neither Merlin or Arthur had the technical background to follow what he was saying. Now look, said Arthur, I have no time for all this. I don't understand one word of what you're saying, and I have no time to listen to all this theoretical nonsense. Nonsense, said Klug, paling with rage. You dare to call my research nonsense? That settles it. I'll have nothing more to do with you. So saying, Klug got up, started packing his bags, preparing to leave. Now look here, said Arthur, getting angry. I haven't brought you here for nothing. I've had a lot of trouble finding you. I haven't brought you here for nothing. I want you to turn my dog into a wolf. Totally ignoring Arthur's remark, Klug continued packing without saying a word. Now look here, said Arthur, getting angrier and angrier. Don't you realize that if you disobey me, I can have you hanged for insubordination? Oh, really now, said Klug, as he slowly but surely disappeared. Zounds, said Arthur. I'll never be able to find him again. Ah, poor Arthur. After going to all that trouble, going to Caxton, having all the trouble finding the five wizards, bringing them to Camelot, finding out which one was Gunther, was really Klug. After all that trouble, just as the plan was about to succeed, he spoils it by tactlessly hurting Klug's feelings. What could he do? Nothing, he decided. So very, very sadly, he didn't know what to do. Well, I shall not spoil it for you by telling you the ending. The ending is a surprise ending, and which is quite remarkable, and raises a very interesting problem, a very interesting puzzle, which I'm sure will intrigue you. And with that, I will leave you with the hopes that you'll have as much fun reading this book as I did in writing it. And so, I'll say to you, goodbye.